Hey guys, this is Daniel with Pwn CNC, and we're going to put together, assemble some boots. I've got the newest version of version 2, newest version of version 3, and the newest version of version 4. We're going to discuss each one, and I'm going to break this up into 3 videos for each of my assembly pages. So let's get started. All right, next up we're going to talk about version 4. So in version 4, there are a couple minor changes. In your package, you'll find an acrylic piece with some screws. You'll find a wings pack with some screws. You'll find your brush material and the main boot part here. You'll know that it's the newer version if it's got 3 heat inserts here on the side. The boot has also been slightly redesigned to reduce the profile of the edges here so you can get a better visibility into the side view of it. But essentially it's got the same profile as version 2, and it's time to assemble. So we're going to start out with the brush. The brush, it comes with a 1-inch brush. This is the 1.5. The 1.5 is available on the website if you'd like to purchase it separately, but just in case you need additional clearance to bring the boot up higher so that you can pass over high profile clamps or whatnot. The boot can use the 1, 1.5, and 2-inch brush material. All of them come in 14-inch lengths, which is perfect for any of the size boots. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take the brush, you're going to set it right down into the track there, and just kind of twist and press it in as you go. The brush is a press-in now, so it should be significantly easier to install. That was whenever I went to this new brush material, I was able to compensate for, the brush material has a much more consistent seat, and that allows for more precise instructioning and that sort of thing. So now that I've got the brush material in there for the most part, we're going to come back here in a second. I'm going to take some flush cutters, but you can use a box cutter if you need to, and we're going to flush cut that brush material right to the edge here. This is where our boot can pass through a bit or something like that if it needs to. Most of the material, whenever you're cutting, usually hits towards the front, so it's right there where the suction is, which is perfect. So we're going to take a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to gently press that. Now, careful where your hands are. You could slip with this. There's no need to press too hard. We're just kind of bumping in a little bit. The seat should sit slightly below the bottom surface. And if you see that brush material looking at it from the side, that's where you need to press it in a little bit further. There. So now we've got our brush material on. We're ready to move on to the acrylic. So in the acrylic, you will find a circular acrylic piece that matches the bottom profile of the boot, 3 M3 by 10 millimeter button head screws, and you will need a 2 millimeter hex driver for this. And you may need to scratch off some of the little fuzzies on the end here if you need to. But we're going to take this and sort of twist it right in so that we're not catching any of the brush material underneath the acrylic. We're going to set that acrylic right down into there. The acrylic overhangs a little, and that's so that we can capture that brush and kind of help hold it in place. So we're going to line up our screws here on the bottom. I'm going to take my 2 millimeter hex wrench and a driver and my screw and down. 3. All right, So there we go. We've got the brush, we've got the acrylic, and now we're ready to move on to the wings. In your wings pack, get it open here, you will have two wing plastic parts, and then four M3 by 10 millimeter button head screws. This is where, socket head screws. This is where it's actually got a little lift there. It helps with the rotational forces of the wing. On this version of the boot, I do have a little lip down here on the bottom, and there are 3 heat inserts on either side. If you have an older version of version 4 with only 2 heat inserts on the side, then you are using the old brush material. Refer to another video, my older videos on assembling that version. But on this version, we're going to take our wing, we're going to set it right there. It's usually going to be flush. I've added an additional heat insert here so that if your router sits, depending on which router mount and configuration you have, you may need the boot to sit further forward or backwards, because what your goal is to have the bit go right down and line perfectly with the center of the boot, so that when the bit comes down, it goes perfectly in the center and does not impact the side of the acrylic. So the adjustability, the extra inserts here are for that purpose. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it down. For most people, it's probably going to be flush right here with the edge. But just in case you need to bring the boot forward, you can slide this wing forward and mount it, or you can slide it backwards and mount it, depending on where your alignment is. So start with the flush, and you'll find with the socket head screws, you're going to need a 2.5 millimeter hex wrench, by the way. Okay. Got it all assembled. We're ready to go. So the boot is fully assembled. We've got our brush, we've got our acrylic, we've got our wings on there. Now you just need to pop in your hose adapter, and you've got a fully assembled boot. Now it's time to jump over and start working on the bracketing.